Point is to be clear. The point is to be clear. We're doing this for clarity. More than more, you realize the purpose of a name. To have a good name. To have a clear purpose. That's the fight for every man, for every sister. You know, that's our fight, to have a clear purpose. A clear communication, whether verbal or through actions. And sometimes we don't know our purpose and we don't really know what we're communicating, but it hits the mark even though we didn't even try, right? Because someone like me can look at Kobe, and maybe I didn't watch every game, go to every game. I don't own any Kobe jerseys, you know what I mean? At the same time, I got love for a man who taught me a lesson. A lot of us got love for this man that taught us lessons in different ways and created clear messages. One of those for me was to never fold, even when they want you to. Don't fold, man. Don't quit. Don't give up. You saw it on the court with the bro when he limped out back to the free throw line and still drained those 2 free throws, man. I mean, right in their face. He limped back out with a torn Achilles in pain and made 2 free throws and limped back off the court. Don't fold. He's being accused of whatever in courts. He's being called whatever, split between the team, split with management, split in his own personal marriage, his own relationship, all this stuff and he never folded. They tried to take it all, man. Because at the end of the day, we know they want it all back. We know that it's the devil's playground, but everything is, not just basketball. You're on Instagram, guess what? You're on the devil's playground. Before you talk shit about Kobe Bryant being on the devil's playground, you're on the devil's playground, my knock. If you were against it, you wouldn't be on Instagram or YouTube right now. Unless you believe you can crystallize your own avenue, right? You can have your own wave, have your own lane. But you know you're on the devil's playground. You know you're on Instagram, and you know it wasn't created by no NAGA. You're on YouTube, and you know it wasn't created by no NAGA. But you're still using the invaders' technology, playing on their playground. Now, should we say that you must be a devil worshiper? Oh, because Kobe was good enough at 18 years old to get in the NBA with nobody giving him the drop other than what he's already picked up at that age. And you want to say you could have done better with those responsibilities? You could have stood up and taken accountability every time? It was bigger than the game. It was bigger, like Ali, bigger than the game in his own way. And at the end of the day, he's fighting for a name. And if you don't know, then you must be careful, my brothers. You must be careful, my sisters, not to fall into the trap of being emotionless about your brother being slayed, about the possibility of your brother Kobe Bryant being slayed. To have an emotion doesn't equate to idolatry, Khan. It means that my brother just died. I don't know much about it. I never met him. I don't know what he was working on. I don't know who he could have pissed off. But I've seen this happen too many times not to ask questions and to at least take to at least take a stance that's responsible, to give his family a chance to mourn while we ask the right questions, and not demonize the man for his affiliation to basketball or to the celebrity status. Same way no one's going to demonize you for being on Instagram or YouTube, even though it's run by your enemy. He played on a court owned by his enemy. We get it. You do post every day on social media owned by your enemy. Should we affiliate you with your enemy? Don't fall into a trap, my Nagas, of bearing false witness on Kobe or anybody else who's emotional, mourning the death of not just him, but his beautiful daughter. Are you throwing the first stone? Is it idolatry to care? Is it such a narrative that we just should stop caring? Hey, y'all, it ain't real. He ain't nothing. All you emotional people, it's easy to pick somebody off once you've settled on a stance to not have no emotion. And when has it been powerful to have no emotion? You have no connection. It's okay to feel. It's not okay to assume that anybody that feels has idolized, meaning put this man before the creator as a deity, because we care about the life and the effect of the clear message of never folding, of never quitting, or just because it's our brother. How about that? Like my bro Tecumseh say, we care because it's our brother. That's enough, ain't it? Ain't that enough to investigate? Ain't that enough to research? Well, we do it. Fair use in your caboose. Let's get it. We just talking recon. And we ask why did Kobe Bryant enjoy flying helicopters to begin with? Let's start right there. This is off of ftw.usa Today. But then, he said, traffic started getting really, really bad, and I was sitting in traffic, and I wind up missing a school play because I was sitting in traffic. So, at the heart of it, according to this, it was about his children. Are we saying that Kobe doesn't love his daughters? So I'm saying there's an honest factor within all the bullshit, within all the scrapple. We know there's an honest intention behind every move. Was his intention in riding a helicopter to invade the Negro, or because he didn't want to miss any more events sitting in LA traffic for his daughters, for his family, like a school play? This thing just kept mounting. I had to figure out a way where I could still train and focus on the craft, but still not compromise family time. So that's when I looked into helicopters to be able to get down and back in 15 minutes. And that's when it started. And so my routine was always the same. Waits in the early morning, kids to school, fly down, practice like crazy, do my extra work, media, everything I needed to do, fly back, get in the carpool line, pick up the kids. And my wife was like, listen, I can pick them up. And I'm like, no, I want to do that. What was his intention? No matter what the fame was, I still want to be a father. How do you slander a man that just wants to be a dad? How do you tell us not to care for a man that just wants to be a father? And are you saying he didn't? So we shouldn't have no emotion because we're idolatrous heathen? The Hebrew community got to stop this shit. Every time somebody formidable in the hood cares and shows up, it's all about, oh, you idolatrous heathen. How dare you show any respect for someone who showed you that even you can attain greatness in your own way. That's the only message he needed to give the hood for 20 years. Is that he did it, he came back, and he did it again, and he did it, and he made it repeatable and observable science to be great. He made being great at what he did on and off the court of repeatable and observable science. Now, will you do this great man justice by asking great questions before bearing false witness against him or anyone who cares? By calling the community idolatrous heathen, that's bearing false witness on each and every person, Hebrew, indigenous person in the community across the plain that cares about a family man. And this ain't no little point. This is a man who's doing this because he wants to be with his children, his daughters. That's why he's flying helicopters. That's why he's in the helicopter. He doesn't want to miss no more school plays. I don't need to make Kobe an angel to say, yeah, he might have really wanted to spend time with his family. And that's a good thing, right? We're not talking about a deadbeat father. We're not talking about a father that don't give a shit. We're talking about a father that will go through any means to cut the time or to, attribute enough time to spend with his family. Whatever else he did, I don't know. But this is what I'm putting together based on the public information that we can assume, yeah, I can dig that. I can dig that he does care about his daughters enough to do something like that. Now, was he involved with any other fight for his name up until his dying day? We on a recon. We on a warpath. The price is going way up because they put the price up so high. They put the price up so high, man. Could they ever pay it back? Could they ever pay Hawa back? I mean, can they ever pay you back for what they've taken? So this is, something that's only a part of what's been taken, and we're looking into it. All right, and he actually spoke on this. Let's get a piece of this, man. Again, it's fair use in your caboose. We're gonna be looking at some clips. We're gonna look at some things for scholarship, research, the connection, purpose, the criticism. We're gonna criticize some footage. We're gonna look into some stuff. This is Drop Nation. Halawa. Let go.
On weekends. But then traffic started getting really, really bad, right? And I was sitting in traffic and I wound up missing like a school play because I was sitting in traffic. And this thing just kept mounting. I had to figure out a way where I could still train and focus on the craft, but still not compromise family time. And so that's when I looked into helicopters and be able to get down and back in 15 minutes. And that's when it started. And so my routine was always the same. Weights early in the morning, kids to school, fly down, practice like crazy, do my extra work, media, everything I needed to do, fly back, get back in carpool line, pick the kids up. And my wife was like, listen, I can pick them up. I'm like, no. I want to do that because you have road trips and times where you don't see your kids, man, So like every chance I get to see them and spend time with them, even if it's 20 minutes, have road trips and times where you don't see your kids, man, So like every chance I get to see them and spend time with them, even if it's 20 minutes in a car, like I want that, right? So that would be my routine all the time.
I mean, you look into it. Is he bullshitting? Or is this what this particular helicopter situation is about? I'm just taking it piece by piece. So, he's trying to cut time. He knows what LA traffic's about. Let's get
on weekends. But then traffic started getting really, really bad, right? And I was sitting in traffic and I wound up missing like a school play because I was sitting in traffic and this thing just kept mounting. I had to figure out a way where I could still train and focus on the craft, but still not compromise family time. And so that's when...
Still not compromise family time. Family time. Family time. Let's go. going to get a piece of this Dabu 7 final flight track on flight radar.
Something happened to cause this man to all of a sudden drop out of the sky at a rate of 4,000 feet per minute. And that
we're going to get that. Let's just go back first to the original article. This one here is from patch.com. Yeah, it's emotional. You know, it doesn't matter about them being a hero or someone caring so much that they're lighting candles to Kobe Bryant and literally putting him before the creator and idolizing and making graven images. Like, that's just, you know what I mean? Whatever extreme does not represent the whole of everyone who has a heart to care about a man who loves his family, who could have been literally, you know, just taken out and obliterated in a helicopter, all right? You think this was just a regular helicopter crash and we should just move on and not ask no questions? We shouldn't feel no emotion, although we've seen, you know, so much emotion through his life, and we actually saw 2020, right, how he handles adversity and pressure and never folds, and you can't take nothing from that positively enough to have an emotion about losing a character who stands so strong and so firm every single time. It's a distraction, of course, but that doesn't take away from the loss. Because somebody is planning a distraction doesn't take away from the sacrifice, right? Just the fact that they're taking it away lets you know that there's more to the story. Don't bear false witness against your brother. If you don't know anything he's into, if you don't know him, if you don't know, it's not for you to speak on. You're not a witness to it. That's called a false witness. To call anyone idolatrous for caring is bearing false witness on anyone who cares, saying that now they're, you know, putting this power before your power, or creating a God figure, you know, doing, everybody must be taking this extreme route because we care, because people care, because people have an emotion towards a brother who lost not just himself, but his family, his daughter, the families. You don't feel nothing. How do you be a spiral? How can you spiral 9 above and you don't have no feeling? All you can see is your angle, your flow, and all that shit could be true. But you have no balance, which means you have no wisdom. I see folks getting washed up in the wave and they don't even know it. They're getting washed up and they don't even know it. And it takes something sometimes like a Nipsey Hussle or a Kobe Bryant, or just the repeatable evidence of the same people popping up, looking around for anyone who cares, saying, idolater, you're idolizing Nip, because you've seen him grow up like my bro AD, you know, selling incense in front of his shop, just trying to get on, trying to get his thing going, did his thing independent for so long, gave a whole new blueprint, taken out in front of his spot. At least that's what we know. Anything else we don't know, we don't know. To see a bro come down that's turf raised, no matter where he's from. Nipsey Hussle is from the turf, man. He's turf raised, man. 59th, you dig? The turf, the code raised that bro. And he was a stand-up bro. And that shit ain't never straight. That shit ain't never gonna be straight. All I know about Kobe is that he kept going, man. And to take somebody out with that type of fortitude and that type of strength, that shit ain't never gonna be cool. Now, what was going on? What was the business? I mean, on the basic article, it says basic stuff, right? He was an icon. Well, some people did idolize Kobe. Some people idolize you. We're talking about the general, you know what I'm saying, public didn't form Kobe into no idol. You know what I'm saying? The general public was watching and going with the wave on whatever he did, good or bad. He did something that they felt was bad, they was talking shit. He did something great, they was talking, you know, other shit. But you did have your lump of people that did form him into an icon or an idol. But to say all the family that gives a shit must be under this particular category, that's bearing false witness against your brothers and your sisters. And don't fall into that trap, because our community is full of this alchemical serpent. It's serpentine energy to want to tear down and break down before even clarifying a matter or allowing the family to clarify a matter. You label everything as celebrity. All celebrities are bad, right? All gang members are bad, right? Or are some gang members in the hood helping out the little homies in the hood when they don't have no fathers, no father figures stepping up for them, taking care of them? We don't see that part, right? All fraternities are bad, right? Greek letter organizations, yeah, I get it. But to those 18, 19-year-olds that are just doing community service, throwing parties, you know what I mean, trying to, you know what I'm saying, get their grades up so that they can get whatever career popping off, that's all they know at that moment. That doesn't mean that they can't raise above the hijack of the organization. You got Freemasons that are, to this day, rising above the hijack of even that organization. You got Freemasons that are behind the scenes, you know what I'm saying, that are actually fighting for your ass, just like B.O.B. was trying to tell us. You can't label all Masons bad. You can't label all dinosaurs or dragons bad. All angels bad. You can't label all fraternities bad. You can't label all gang members bad. You go to jail, do you think you're around a bunch of bad people? Well, trust me, you go to jail, you're going to find a lot of good people. You're going to find a lot of amazing brothers, amazing sisters. Oh, but they're behind bars, they must be savages, right? Because Kobe's involved with the NBA, he must be a devil-worshiping, oath-making, you know, Baphomet, you know, Mason, you know what I mean, all this shit. And you don't know a damn thing. And even if he had affiliations, you don't know what he was doing with it. You just generalize all things, this whole group, and all you do when you do that is you alienate the group within that group that Hawaii has put there to choose up and to help those within that organization choose up, within that fraternity choose up, within that gang choose up, within that masonry, whatever, choose up. We got family everywhere. We got family in the military. Are all brothers and sisters in the military bad because they're fighting on the invader's army? A lot of our brothers are awake and they're still fighting in the invader's army. Are they demons? Are they infiltrators? Are they snitches? Are they snakes? Or do we have some brothers that are in these armed forces that are fighting for us, even within their group, within their heart, within their flow? Kobe Bryant was fighting for his name to his dying breath. The least you can do is ask questions. Let's get it. We just asking questions. Yeah, man, we just gonna ask some questions. Let's go. Let's skip to this article here. This is from Atlanta Black Star in 2019. Just right quick, let's go back to the other one. You know, 'cause I just wanted to point out some of the language. Icon, we got that. A global pop star of sorts with gregarious personality off the court, but loaded with an assassin's mentality, right? Just pay attention to the lingo. You got assassin, let's go. Maintaining a hyper-competitive spirit. Now, unless you dig further, hyper might just go over your head. But let's look at hyper. Remember hyper. Remember hyper. Spirit. From every opening tip-off to every final buzzer. Every dagger in the heart. Impossible shot. Impossible shot. So what kind of impossible shot are we talking about? We're going to see some footage that might or might not be related. You know what I mean? This is just what came in from anonymous sources. Again, man, fair use in your caboose, man. We're going to get some footage in a second. Just pay attention to the language. Because they're using all kind of language, right? They are already making it a mockery. And you think this is accidental? You think this is accidental?
Kind of athlete, the kind of star that was perfectly cast on the Los Angeles Niggers, 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 Los Angeles Lakers.
I mean, Los Angeles Lakers. They already are spitting on the face of this bruh. Now, when you're doing the same thing, you're keeping the same narrative as your oppressor. And you're following into the trap, not only of keeping that narrative, but breaking the code, bearing false witness against your own family.
Perfectly cast on the Los Angeles Niggers.
They are already keeping this narrative, very disrespectful. You don't need to be more disrespectful. Assassins. Hyper. A dagger in the heart. Let's dig further. Atlanta Black Star. Pull up all the links. Pull up all the feature links. Let's go. Kobe Bryant accuses pharma company of using illegal substances. So he's accusing a pharmaceutical company that creates drugs. And they use the name Black Mamba. And they know they know who the Black Mamba is, right? So they know who the NAGA is. The Black Mamba, is really a take on the NAGA, you dig? And it's one thing for Kobe to fight for his name, Black Mamba. It's another thing for him to accuse them of using illegal substances. Now he's tearing down the company. And I'm not pointing fingers. I don't know what happened. I'm just looking at public lawsuits around the time that our bro appears to have been, how'd they say it? Con. Assassin mentality, right? Let's go. Kobe Bryant and his legal team are going with a new game plan in their battle against high-tech pharmaceuticals for the right to use the name Black Mamba. Both parties have been fighting in court since 2017 over the name. High-tech filed to trademark it in 2015. Of course, Kobe had won how many rings by then? So the name Black Mamba was very popular. They said, oh, he hasn't trademarked his name. Let me trademark it. He's been playing in the NBA for damn near 20 years by that point. You know what I'm saying? He's earned the name Black Mamba. Later, they try to compare it to, somebody else got that name, Roger Mayweather. Now, you gotta be a hardcore boxing fan to even have ever seen a Roger Mayweather fight. You only know the name because of Floyd, right? Floyd didn't have the name Black Mamba. His daddy or his uncle Roger did. No one thought about that name. Only he did. That's his thing. When Kobe did it, it became a household name. Now, this is not between Roger Mayweather and Kobe. This is a pharmaceutical drug company that wants to use the name after the brothers already made the name famous. They're using it for a reason because it's already famous. It's already got a familiarity to it. Now, why would they name anything Black Mamba? You would think it's poison, right? Unless it's associated with greatness, unless it's associated with championships. Let's go. Both parties have been fighting in court since 2017. Remember that date, 2017. 2017. Because wasn't that cartoon that everybody saw? You know, the thing went viral everywhere. It keeps being deleted. I got to find new ones every time. Remember, it's fair use in your caboose, bro. Because just like our brother Kobe, we don't fold. Fair use in your caboose. So this company, to use the name, they've been fighting for since 2017. Kobe's death predicted in 2017. I can't make this shit up. And I'm not pointing no fingers or saying nothing, you know, at nobody towards nobody. You know, it's just what seems to be happening in real time. 2017. So both parties been fighting in court since 2017. I mean, we're just lining these ducks up, you know what I mean? And it's worth it to us because this is our family, you know, not to throw stones, but just to put the pieces, you know, in a flow that we can try to digest, because we can't within ourselves allow this to keep happening with no understanding. You dig? This is for us to find out more about ourselves on every level, because there ain't no separation between you and Kobe. There ain't no separation. Let's go. Both parties have been fighting in court since 2017 over the name. High Tech filed to trademark it in 2015. Of course, well after the bros' fame and fortune, right? For its line of diet pills called Black Mamba what? Hyper Rush. Hyper. Assassin, maintaining a hyper competitive spirit. Now, is it nothing or is it something? Are they throwing words out for no reason, or are they referring to a particular hyper? I mean, they could have said maintaining a very competitive spirit, maintaining one of the most competitive spirits in the game. Hyper Rush. Black Mamba, Hyper Rush. 2017. Kobe's death predicted in 2017. Fair use in your caboose. Let's get it for research purposes.
Oh, shit! It's Kobe Bryant!
Help me.
Just pass me the trophies and we'll pull you out.
Pass.
Oh, shit! It's Kobe Bryant!
Help me.
Just pass me the trophies
Remember, devil's playground, right? So everything the devil give you, he gonna want back. So then his rings come flying. So the thing he cares about the most, right? He got trophies and rings. And this is their mockery. 2017. We're gonna get more. He has to give his rings back after he dies, right? We gonna get that out you. We gonna get everything back. Michael Jackson, Prince, same thing. But is Prince evil for whatever message he wanted to bring you? Is Michael Jackson evil for whatever message he wanted to bring you, no matter what deal or whatever behind the scenes? If you don't know, shut your mouth. Stop bearing false witness against your family, who happen to be so talented, that they get into these groups. Just like our educated family that go to colleges, they're so talented that they get into these schools, and yeah, they join the college gangs. Yeah, they join different groups. They don't know nothing about it. Don't demonize them, because these are the same youngsters that's going to come out and help establish, things on such a, higher level, man. Our young minds, man, to demonize them because they go to college and join some Greek letter. Remember, man, the Greeks look just like you. It's not them joining white shit. They're joining shit that has intentions beyond their intentions. They want to party. They want to be cool. They want some good company, whatever the case is. They want to be in whatever flow for whatever reason for their career. They want to be doctors. They want to be lawyers. That's how they were raised, to want to be professionals. To say everybody in the fraternity or everybody in sorority must have it out for me, must be involved with the secret plan to get the secret information against me. That's those that are outside, way outside of any part of this flow. And they have their own inner hostilities anyway. They got their own inner hatred anyway. So they find areas and ways to pick off our own family that are in these particular circles because of their own talent or abilities. Because of their educated brain and mind, they're in these colleges. Because of their talent to dribble or shoot or to maintain, to continue to get greater, they're in these circles. They're in the circles because they can act, because they can do great comedy, because they can, write a certain way. They don't know that path that they're being led on. And then when they find out, sometimes it's too late. And they try to send a message before it all blows up, right? Before this energy wants it all back, right? So he's coming out of the crash. He's still alive. With his trophies. They say to him, give me the trophies. We'll help you. They make a joke. They say, oh, he says pass. I ain't gonna pass you the trophies. I don't want to pass the rock. So they call him selfish, basically. Oh, you selfish. Die with your trophies then. Die with your trophies.
Shit, it's Kobe Bryant.
Help me.
Just pass me the trophies and we'll pull you out.
Pass.
And they blow his ass up. And the last thing that they get back are all the sweat, blood, sweat, and tears, right? All the pictures you see hugging the trophies, the rings. Now we, can definitely read into what they call a coincidence of LeBron getting crowned basically king of LA, right? Right before this happened a day earlier. He breaks the record. Coincidence or not, he becomes the new king. He's dethroning, he's deposing. Remember that word, depose, depose, depose. Let's go. So they blow him up with his trophies. 2017.
Just pass me the trophies and we'll pull you out.
Pass.
2017. Now, this footage may or may not have nothing or everything to do with everything. From an anonymous source. And, again, fair use. We just are reconning this. This ain't for the kiddies, but the kiddies to bed. You know what I mean? I just want you to see the similarities between this and that predictive programming Cartoon Network clip we just got. And you be the judge. And let's go. This was sent in, so I don't know if this was the, helicopter or what, but it was sent in recently and from an anonymous source that says this is from an eyewitness account. You saw the explosion, right? Just like the Cartoon Network. Any questions? Oh, there should be a lot of questions, because when you see this and you see this, there should be a lot of questions, my NAGA. I'm going to take a screenshot, man, because there should be a lot of questions. There you go. Also pay attention to the trajectory, because we're going to look at this Dabu 7 clip going over the flight path, showing that this thing went straight down. So they keep saying that it hit something, ran into, nah, man, something hit it appears, and it goes straight down.
It's Kobe Bryant.
Help me.
Just pass me the trophies and we'll pull you out.
Pass.
Let's go to Dabu 7. Love the Dabu 7. Always got some great drop. Let's go.
This is Dabu 7. I want to share with you here the flight path per flight awareness here, showing exactly what happened on Kobe Bryant's final flight in the helicopter. Now, there was a situation midway, and you'll see they left from near Santa Ana. And when I put this into motion, you're going to see that around Burbank, he starts to circle many, many times. They also show that you're not going to be able to see in the frame while I'm running it, is the track down here. And when it goes into motion, it shows how fast they were going, and it shows where they were at. It's got the feet that it's climbing off this backside, and then the speed. Now, they slowed down dramatically back in this one spot because they were asking for visual clearance, or it's a special kind of visual status that the chopper needs to proceed. Now, apparently, those in the control tower told him he was too low in this area to proceed doing that. So he circled multiple times because of the fog, and they were trying to get flights out of there. For whatever reason, they don't state why. He just takes off and heads off this way. And then there's an abrupt heading south right before they crash. Now, going to put this into motion. So you're going to see here, the helicopter comes up around this region and does multiple circles. Right here. Multiple times. Back and forth, all over the place.
And when I see this, you know, I wonder what was going on inside the cabin. You know, what was going on inside the chopper. Was it just some sightseeing thing? I mean, look how many circles they made. You know, was it some type of struggle? You know, anything we don't know about?
Times. Back and forth, all over the place. Trying to land and did not get the clearance. Takes off. And as they put it now, it looks like he flew into the side of a mountain. The only issue that I have with all of this at this point is that the details of the final minute are sketch.
Let go.
And what I mean by that is, when you look into this, they say that he climbed to 2,000 feet. So he was high enough to clear this stuff in the region. He then descended at a rate of more than 4,000 feet per minute. This happened before he ran into the mountain. Something happened to cause this man
climb to 2,000 feet, enough to clear any of that shit, and then fell down, descended at 4,000 feet per minute. And that's before he flew into anything, any collision. So why did it abruptly fall? Why?
To all of a sudden drop out of the sky at a rate of 4,000 feet per minute. And that right there is the banger that stands out to me in this whole thing. Something caused that, and then in turn he hit the mountain. And they're trying to say pilot error. Now maybe he did nosedive it down, but they say that this was a twin engine. If one went out, they still would have had the other engine. And that it makes no sense under any circumstance why he would have tried to have dropped that quickly, especially in the conditions that they had. So this is the biggest thing that stands out to me. And it even states it in multiple different articles. Right here. That they climbed to 2,000 feet at a speed of 185 miles per hour, only to abruptly drop at a rate of more than 4,000 feet per minute.
Abruptly drop. And the previous article said that they normally had 2 pilots, but this time only had 1. Now, that even sounds fishy, right? That even sounds fishy. But they say he abruptly dropped. Abruptly dropped. You dig? Hold on, man. Make sure we good. It's my 3rd time recording this. They keep crashing my computer every time I, try to get this drop to you. You know what I mean? So, Allah, we can get this over, man. We'll see if y'all can get this one, man. All right, let's get this drop. Again, yeah. It's my 2nd time. Recorded for an hour. Last few seconds, they crashed this recording software. 2nd time, I did it again. I've, restarted, re-uploaded, all this shit, man. So let's get it, man. I ain't gonna fold because my bro, Kobe, never folded. So what happened that made this situation, this flight, abruptly drop?
1,000 feet at a speed of 185 miles per hour, only to abruptly drop at a rate.
Abruptly drop at a rate of more than 4,000 feet per minute. Again, just to compare for recon purposes, but the kitty's the bed. This is an abrupt drop, people. Before any collision, it's doing this in the air. Now, was it some type of EMP situation? There's so many ways, so many questions to ask as to what would make this helicopter abruptly drop. But what we don't know, we don't know. So we ask questions. We don't bear false witness on our brothers or anybody who's emotionally, trying to, get to the bottom of things, get to the root of it all. Love to the bro. That's all we're doing is getting to the root. Let's go. Hyper. (2017) Hyper Rush. Bryant tried to trademark the name 1 year later and said since it's been its nickname throughout his NBA career, people wouldn't be able to distinguish the hoop player from the pill, which is a fact because he already had blew up for decades by this time. The 5-time champion also pointed to Nike commercials that used the word hyper. I told you, pay attention. Why would they just put hyper in this recent article? Knowing the connection is very simple why they did it. Hyper, which he said would be confuse folks even more than the Hyper Rush diet pill. So first is the name, then he's accusing them of using banned substances, right? Now, according to the Blast, look at the article or the publication. It's called The Blast, people. Come on. In his new legal attack, the retired shooting guard had accused this company, right? They call it High Tech, of selling products that contain substances that have been banned by the FDA as a dietary supplement. So they're getting a bad rap, first with the name. Now he's saying that their stuff is no good, that it's illegal. That's an issue, right? Again, I don't know anything about what went on and why this happened and why that happened. We're just looking at the public legal documentation. We're not pointing no fingers and we're not bearing false witness on nobody, not even this company. We're just reading the casework. He wants the courts to automatically grant him the Black Mamba trademark as a result of the fact that they're not even legitimately, according to him, this accusation, using these correct legal substances. The product, according to Kobe's team, marketed and sought to be registered as a dietary supplement. So they want to be marketed as a dietary supplement. Has contained and continues to contain prohibited substances by the FDA, DMAA, and methylphenidate. So they say it's contained prohibited substance by the FDA, and these are the two substances. And you can look into them more and find out why they're banned, but all we know is that they're banned. And these were his newly filed documents, people. All right. This is a very current situation. So during the legal back and forth, High Tech accused Bryant of being a bully. So here's the back and forth. They call Kobe Bryant a bully and not having a legitimate argument as to why he should get the right to the Black Mamba name. The company stated that its argument about people being confused is a flimsy one. Why? Because everybody knows the Black Mamba. They're going to try to say, oh, Roger Mayweather had the name. Nobody know Roger Mayweather. They know Floyd. Nobody knew him as the Black Mamba unless they were a hardcore boxing fan. The company stated that his argument about people being confused is a flimsy one, which is really not, because you would think this dietary supplement called Black Mamba had something to do with one of the most famous basketball players in history called the Black Mamba. Because a professional boxer named Roger Mayweather already used the moniker, he trademarked Black Mamba Mayweather. Nobody knew him as that unless they strictly followed his career. Bryant hasn't spoken about any of this publicity. He has maintained his silence since the beginning. So Kobe maintained his silence, right? So you never heard about this out of his mouth. This is his legal team speaking. Let's go. This is a more recent article from January 6, 2020. Kobe trying to settle Black Mamba battle with the pharma company. Kobe is trying to hash out a settlement in a battle with the pharma company over the Black Mamba before heading to trial. So this was heating up. They had some negotiations. They were talking about, reaching, some type of deal possibly, but they were far from it. According to court documents obtained by The Blast, Kobe is informing the court he is attempting to work out a deal with the pharma company High-Tech Pharmaceuticals over his famous nickname. The document reads, the parties are actively engaged in negotiations for the settlement of this matter. Kobe Incorporated requests that this proceeding be suspended for 30 days to allow parties to continue their settlement efforts. 30 days would have put us next month in February before they knew for sure if they were going to take it to trial, my people. We're just reading the casework. Not pointing no fingers. I'm not accusing nobody of nothing. We're just reading it and letting the people continue the recon. Because we got to ask questions about our brother before bearing false witness to destroy his name. And that's all he's fighting for. Because why? What's the purpose of having a good name? Let's go. Back in December, the NBA legend suffered a huge setback in the battle over Black Mamba. The United States Patent and Trademark Office denied Kobe Bryant's attempt to wrap up the battle, so he was denied by the Trademark U.S. Patent. Bryant has been fighting the pharmaceutical company High-Tech Pharmaceuticals for years. High-Tech has been attempting to trademark Black Mamba Hyper Rush. Bryant is fighting them to be able to trademark it, accusing them of ripping off his famous nickname. United States Patent and Trademark Office shut down Kobe's motion for summary judgment, asking them to void High-Tech's trademark applications. They said the case would move forward and the parties would go to trial. They believe the evidence shows there is still much to be determined, people. So we must look at our own investigation into the matter, because there's still much to be determined before acting like we're some witness to something and not know the fullness of the matter. He's fighting for the name. And you got this article here from Tech Dirt that you can look into yourself. And they're more, pro pharma on this, right? Kobe, every bit as useless as his lawyers predicted in the trademark. So bang, they're calling him useless, right? Fairly strange case, trademark opposition involving High-Tech Pharmaceuticals, his Black Mamba Hyper Rush line of diet pills, Kobe Bryant and his Black Mamba line of being a basketball player. The whole thing was both messy, pointless. So it's pointless to them to fight for his name. It's pointless to them. But give credit where credit is due. High-Tech is now complaining that Bryant has been every bit as useless as the lawyers predicted. Now, let's look deeper. Messy because the timelines are not particular in Bryant's favor, given that High-Tech applied for its mark a year before Bryant. That don't matter if they're just using the name. Maybe they beat him to the punch on the copyright side of it, but they're still using his moniker. They're still using his fame, his fortune, every shot he made going into that name. Now, why? What's good? You know what I'm saying? What's so important about a good name, my people? All right, let's get it for the dismount. What's so important about a good name? Given that High-Tech applied for its mark a year before its mark, right? Leading to High-Tech requesting to depose. I told you to remember the word depose. It's very important, especially on a pro-farmer article like this, leading to High-Tech requesting to depose Bryant and get documents from him detailing exactly how he came up with his name. Remember, a good name is something that's given to you. Bryant's lawyers rebutted the request by suggesting that deposing Kobe Bryant would be like deposing Lil Wayne, because the present is a farce we are all somehow forced to live through. The pharma company says that they fired off a list of questions that they wanted to be answered by Kobe. In certain documents they requested him to turn over. The company claims that Kobe has given evasive and incomplete answers and refuses to turn over everything based on unreasonable objections, quote unquote. He's just saying, get the fuck out of here with this bullshit, right? Now it says, high tech requesting to depose Bryant. And I just want to pay attention to that and go into the 1828 Noah Webster Dictionary for the dismount. What does it mean to depose? To lay down, to throw, to let fall, to reduce from the throne. Pay attention, because I know King James dethroned Kobe Bryant a day earlier, right? Coincidence? I don't know. He dethroned the king, right? King of LA. Started his career here, finished his career here, Kobe Bryant. LeBron comes over to his city and replaces him in the scoring title in his own city, to reduce from a throne or high station, to give testimony on oath. What oath? To lay aside, to take away, to examine on oath. What oath? Who did they reduce from a throne? Who did they depose? High tech requesting to depose Bryant. You just got to pay attention to all the little things. I mean, we're talking about banned substances, illegal substances. Illegal substances. And then, you know, it's a greater war. It's a greater fight, because now it's us or you. Banned substances. DMAA, methylphenephrine. All right. You can dig on this link going deeper into this methylphenephrine situation and how other cases of it popping up have been documented. Methylphenephrine is a substance that does not meet the statutory definition of dietary ingredient. The federal drug, food, and all that defines this dietary ingredient as a vitamin, or a dietary ingredient as a vitamin, mineral, herb, or other botanical amino acid dietary substance for use by man. All right, methylphenephrine does not fit under any of these categories. Is Kobe bullshitting, or was this in their diet pills of the Black Mamba, and did he not even want to be associated with it based on, you know, this particular illegal, what they say illegal or fraudulent activity that's being documented? Did he want to distance his good name from any illegal substance and something using his good name? Just beyond just being a family man, he's fighting for a good name, a good name. And what's the importance of a good name? Proverbs 22, for the dismount, a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. It was more than about money. It was about what you stand for. And after your career, 20 years, you did the best you can. You're standing for your name, and your people should stand behind you. Your people should stand behind your name, especially when we're just talking about the NAGA. We're talking about the good name of the NAGA, right? We're talking about the good name of the Nagush, the NAGA. And as we dig, you know, this is all for you so you can, you know, put more together. The whole point is, don't bear false witness. Don't be a witness if you ain't a witness. Don't speak on it if you don't know. And when you don't know, just admit you don't know. Then we can put it together side by side. Because I am the NAGA. I am the Nagu. I am the NAGA. there was many predictive programming around that, not just that Cartoon Network situation, but you see it pop up, many of the commercials he did, man. And again, fair use in your caboose bone. Fair use in your caboose bone. I'll leave you with this one right here, man. Allah, keep researching, keep asking questions, and don't be afraid to mourn and feel something, when you've been stripped, when you've been deposed of a great man. A great man. We pray for the families. We pray for the friends. Y'all remember this one right here? For the dismount. Let's get it. Oh, wow. So he's literally holding the basketball, and it's counting down. It's counting down. So you got the basketball, but it's going to blow up in your face, right? Oh, they can't just show it blowing up on him, so they got to do predictive programming, right? You can't make this shit up. And why Kanye? Pay attention. Who's Kanye friends with? Pay attention. What's happening with Yeezy and his Christian ministry right now? Pay attention. It's all happening, man. It's all happening. Allah, a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches and loving favor rather than silver and gold. Ask your questions. Love your brother. Love yourselves. Don't bear false witness. Allah, rest in power to Kobe Bryant. Rest in power to Nipsey Hussle. And we're not afraid to feel, to take away the lessons and to keep the water flowing. We don't have to break them down to build ourselves up. We can take the lessons and we can grow brick by brick to rebuild our house. Allah, fight for your good name. And I pray that you got brothers and sisters around you to fight for your name when it's time to. All praise our Creator. All praise our ancient love song. Allah.